Have you struggled most of your life trying to improve your flexibility and pliability? Even gotten to the point of thinking, maybe I'm just not a flexible person. I bet you have tried stretching classes, yoga classes, stretching with a personal trainer, maybe even signed up for a dance class, all thinking that you're going to improve your flexibility, and at the end of the day, that just doesn't happen. There's a simple thing that most people overlook in their stretching, and they never think about it. And today, I'm going to divulge that one simple thing that might be affecting your flexibility and pliability. Stay tuned to learn more. Hello and welcome back to the Muscle Repair Shop. My name is Butch Phelps. I'm a functional massage therapist, and today we're going to talk about the one secret thing that most people never think about in trying to improve their flexibility and their pliability. I work with people every single day who come to me, all ages, from 30s to 40s all the way up to the 90s, who have a difficult time improving their flexibility. For the older people, they believe that because they're getting older is why they are stiffer. For the younger people, it's because they believe they're just not flexible people. The sad truth is there's a simple thing that you can check in your own life that may be stopping you from being as flexible and pliable as you'd like to be. What is that secret? It could be right in your diet. Yes, the very things that you eat every single day could be causing stiffness and the inability to improve your flexibility and pliability. What are we talking about here? So, when we look at food, for instance, we think of our food that we pick up at a fast food restaurant. Those are the obvious ones that people say, oh, no, I'm trying to work out, I'm trying to lose weight, I'm not going to go to a fast food restaurant. And I get it. That's sort of the low-hanging fruit. But the part of our diet that most of us don't think about, and that we sort of take for granted because we've always eaten that way, can be things as simple as eating too much bread, eating pasta on a regular basis. Maybe you're eating a lot of white rice, white potatoes, things that have flour in it. What we don't realize is that those foods cause inflammation in the human body. They'll turn to glucose as you eat them for your diet. You're not really thinking of them as being a sweet thing like candy, for instance, but literally those foods drive and spike the glucose levels in your body. Now, once you spike that glucose levels, you're also spiking the insulin levels, which can drive down the metabolism. So if you're trying to lose weight, that can be very frustrating because losing weight becomes difficult. And on top of that, once you drive down that metabolism, you're also causing your body to store fat in your cells. Yes, you're working hard to lose weight. You're working hard to become more flexible. And the very food that we have eaten our entire lives are actually working against us. How do you get around that? Well, one of the things that I learned over my life, where I've lost as much as 130 pounds, is that when I took those foods out of my diet, not only did I lose weight and lose weight pretty quickly, but I also realized that my range of motion started to improve. When I would practice on my stretching on my own body, what I would see is I could sit on the floor, cross my legs, I could sit on my knees with my feet underneath my hips without pain, and I could literally get on the floor and play with my grandkids. And what's amazing about that is I meet people every day in their 30s, 40s, and even 50s who could only dream about doing that. And I'm in my 60s. It's not a miracle. It's not some crazy thing that somebody else is trying to decide. But the problem is that with our foods, when we eat foods that drive up our inflammation, that makes our joints feel stiffer, it makes our backs feel stiffer, and it causes us to literally store more fat. And the more fat that we store, the higher the inflammation goes. So at the end of the day, no matter how much stretching you do, no matter what kind of stretching you do, until you fix your diet, you may actually be sabotaging exactly what you're doing. So one of the things I enjoy talking to my clients about is not only about the stretching and the thoughts in their head and how that can affect their stretching, but also the very food that they're eating. When you start to change that diet, the body will respond. I've done it twice in my life. The first time I lost 105 pounds, and the second time I lost 25 pounds. And my friends would say, it didn't look like you were really working that hard. And I didn't. All I did was take the very foods out of my diet that changed how much fat my body stored. And when I did that, my energy levels went up, my stiffness levels went down, my weight went down, and I was thinking clear, and I felt so much better. The funny thing is that no one seems to talk about that. And that's a very sad thing. And so when I look at my diet, and of course keep in mind that everybody's body is different. So when I talk about the things that I do and the things that I eat, understand that you may have to tweak it a little bit to get it to work properly with your body, but it's a good base to start with. So with my diet, I eat about 60 to 70% of my total amount of food is usually plant-based foods, and that can include greens and different types like lettuces and turnip greens and collard greens, but also foods like carrots and onions and kale and bell peppers and so forth. Meat can be a good thing. I know some of you may be vegan, and I get that and respect that. So there are other sources of foods that you could get for protein. We're not going to go into that today, but in my diet, I'll have about 20% to 25% of my diet to be actually meat so that I can keep my protein levels up, my amino acids up. And then that last 5% or so could be things like more refined carbs, like if I want a piece of bread, or every once in a while I want a little bit of pasta because we all love to eat pasta, right? I can have that. I just can't have it every day, and I certainly can't have it at every meal. And so as I look at my diet and I start to discover how my body is responding, I shift the diet around. So when I was in the mode of losing weight, for instance, my plant-based food intake was more of about 70%. Now when I talk about plant-based foods, as I heard a doctor say at one time, if it comes in a bag or it comes in a box and it has a barcode on it, chances are it's not real food. If you look at the ingredients and it doesn't say carrots, it's got 5 or 6 other names that you can't even pronounce, you're probably not eating real food. So when I'm talking about plant-based foods, I'm talking about a food like a carrot, a tomato, a piece of lettuce. Those are plant-based foods. Then when I went to my meat, I'm looking for cleaner type meats. Meats that are, if it's beef, grass-fed and grass-finished type beef, pasture-raised pigs and for pork and for chickens and so forth. But I'm looking for cleaner meats that don't have the antibiotics and so forth, because that's going to affect me as well. Then once I got my weight where I wanted it to be, now I can decrease down a little bit my plant-based foods and increase up a little bit my meat intake. And now I can start to build back muscle, which you always want to have as well. Those are important things to think about when you're working on your body and trying to improve your body. Then you get back into the stretching, and as you get into the stretching, what you'll find is that your body will respond better. You feel like you're more elastic. Your body will have the energy levels that you'll need to be able to do that, and then you can start moving from there. And as you start to stretch, you'll find that it takes less energy to move. Your brain will work better because the blood will circulate better through your body. And lastly, the joints and the disc in your back will be lubricated at a better rate. So that's my tip for the day. Think about your diet. Focus on it more than what you have in the past, and understand this is just not about losing weight, but this is about how to make your body a well-oiled machine. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe down below. Click on the bell so that every Friday when a video comes out, you'll be reminded of that. And don't forget to send this to your friends if you think it would help them. But for now, see ya.